wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. It's time to make it happen. You know that we don't stop. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top. Wanna be on top.
It's morning in the Genius House, and the test results from the last challenge have just been announced. Jennifer Rios of Stanford University received the highest test score. Let's see how the others react. So how did you do?
I totally aced it.
But I thought Jennifer got first.
Please, we tied. And anyway, Jennifer's results were totally a fluke. She doesn't even know what integration really is.
So what is integration?
Are you seriously asking me that?
She just really scares me. Your housemates say you didn't deserve to be in MIT.
I don't know, man. They're almost retarded, you know?
Well, do you think you deserve to be there? Why don't you prove it? What's integration?
I mean, I don't know why you're asking me such an asinine question, but it's basically the area bounded by the graph of fx, whatever function is in the integral, from the area from x equals a to x equals b. If it's indefinite, then it's just the area of fx plus a constant represented by c. Is that good enough for you?
How did you do on the test?
I'm in the bottom three, but you know, why does this all even matter?
So you don't want to win?
Nah, it's all so mainstream. I mean, my parents really dragged me to Yale. I've had nothing for 4 years, all this goddamn rollers.
Okay, so what do you want to do when you get out then?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking of, like, opening a coffee shop. It's all, like, fair trade coffee and, like, beat poetry all on the walls. We'd have poetry slams every Thursday. They're great, right?
I mean, it's obvious. I'm gonna win. I'm just so much better than everyone else. I mean, I graduated from Harvard for God's sake. It's like impossible for me to lose.
But tell me.
Last week we did optimization. I mean, come on, taking derivatives and setting them equal to 0? I could do that in my sleep.
Well, Lucas.
Excuse me? It's Luca, not Lucas. It's French. God, what are you, monolingual? Good.
So what do you think of your housemates?
I mean, they're alright. They all think they're hot. Whatever.
So how did you do then?
I mean, whatever, man.
Weren't you in the bottom 2 though? So I heard you got first on the test.
Yeah, you know, I finished so early that I decided to try and see what the others were doing, and oh my god, you won't believe how Daryl did number 3.
How?
Well, for this problem, he did this. And then for this problem, he did this, which is possibly even stupider. Like, are you serious? This is the fundamental theorem of calculus. Like, didn't you learn this in high school?
Well, how do you do the problem?
Well, the first part of this problem has to deal with part 1 of the fundamental theorem of calculus, which states that when you solve a definite integral, you take the antiderivative of the function in the integral, and then plug in your bounds, starting with the highest one, and then subtracting what you get if you plug in the lower one into the antiderivative. So, if you do that correctly, you get 18.667. And the reason why Daryl got negative 18.667 is because he plugged the bounds in the wrong order. And then, this part of the problem deals with part 2 of the fundamental theorem of calculus, which states that if you take the derivative of an integral with bounds from any number in the function's domain to x, in this case 4 to x, it ends up being the function in the integral with x simply plugged into the variable. So, the real solution to this problem is simply x cubed plus 4. Daryl did an incredibly dumb thing and ended up taking the antiderivative of the function in the variable in the integral in terms of t, and then actually plugging in x and 4 in the wrong order, might I add, as his bounds. But that's the right way that you do the problem. Okay, time's up. Let's see how you all did.
Fantastic.
Oh my god. I don't even know where to start with this mess. I'm just gonna have to do it all over again.
That's all correct. What are you doing? Dude, the man's destroying my work.
So this is the right answer, and you get here by realizing that the u in the equation is ln of x. So then you take the derivative, which is 1 over x dx, and you realize that in the equation you have both 1 over x and 1 over ln of x and dx. So you substitute that all back in to get the integral from e to 6 of 1 over u du. Although u did the power rule, it's simply the antiderivative of ln of u. So you get the ln of u from e to x, to e to 6. And then you substitute back in the u and get ln of x from e to 6. Then just use the fundamental theorem of calculus and you get ln of 6 minus ln of e. Since ln of e is 1 and ln of 1 is 0, the final answer is ln of x. In order to solve this problem, you have to realize that unlike the last one, it's integration by parts. And to do integration by parts and to figure out the u, du, dv, and v, you use something called limit in order to choose which part of the integral is going to be u. Limit stands for logarithms, inverse trig, polynomials, exponentials, and then trig. So when you look at the integral itself, you can see that x is a polynomial, so that's going to be your u. Then the derivative of that is simply dx. The rest of what's in the integral is going to be your dv. And since it looks like this marker is running out, I need to get a new one. And then the antiderivative of that is simply e to the x. So now you put it in the right order, which is uv minus the integral of v du. So the integral of x times e to the x dx is equal to uv x times e to the x minus the integral of v du, the integral of e to the x dx. Then you simply solve this integral. And since this is just the integral of e to the x, we know that it's going to be e to the x. So the final answer is x times e to the x minus e to the x plus c, which you obviously forgot. Since this is an indefinite integral, you need to have a c at the end of it. Okay, now that that's done with, it's time to tally up your points. Daryl, you received a total of 17 out of 30 points. And Hunter, you received 11.
Son of a
30.
I gotta come from Peruvian organic coffee! Richmond, son, recognize Richmond.
So now that that's done with, although I don't personally believe that both of you should be going, I guess the rules dictate that Daryl gets to stay, and Hunter, pack your bags, because you're out.
Whatever, my team winning! Alex Ginsberg, we're gonna do
So you've been kicked out of the house. How does that feel?
What are you, man? A therapist? Listen, I told you earlier, I really don't care about this. It's my parents' idea anyways. They don't get that this really isn't that important.
What's that?
Don't worry about it.
But calculus, it's applicable almost everywhere.
Like I said, too mainstream.
You wanna be on top? Wanna be on top? It's time to make it happen. You know we'll be on top.
So I heard you have a rap about integrals.
Oh, because I'm black, do you think I have a rap about everything? I don't need this. You.